veins, spilling facts is my quest. I'm breaking the mold, no mainstream appeal. Just a kid with a dream and a heart made of steel. I sift through the data, the left and the right. No bias, no agenda, just seeking the light. They laugh at my setup, my low-res dream, but my words cut deeper than the corporate scream. I guess I'm too raw, too rough, too plain, but I'm spitting my heart, not chasing some game. No corporate leash, no puppet on strings. I'm free in my words, see the truth that I bring. No big channel shine, no glitter, no fakes. Minimal effort, just me and my takes. I'm speaking the truth, let the whole world know. Small time streamer, but that's how I roll. Do my words hit hard, give the system the chills. Minimal effort, no budget, no frills. I'm carving my path, let the fire erupt. Small time dreamer with a voice that's enough. I'm the spark in the dark, the glitch in the code. Carving my lane on this uncharted road. Million subs, no viral fame, but I'm owning the truth and I'm changing the game. I'll scream till my lungs give out, till the signal's dead. Every word that I speak is the blood that I No big channel shine, no glitter, no fakes. Minimal effort, just me and my takes. I'm speaking the truth, let the whole world know. Small time streamer, but that's how I roll. Do my words hit hard, give the system the chills. Minimal effort, no budget, no frills. I'm carving my path, let the fire erupt. Small time dreamer with a voice that's enough.
Hey guys, happy Monday. I am so sorry it's late. I kind of knew it would be. I was thinking positively maybe that we'd have, I don't know, an early game tonight, get home a little early and actually get set up in time to be going at 9:30, but it's 10. It's all good. We're here, you know. Hey, DB Wild, how's it going, buddy? I'm still thawing out. It rained all day, off and on, and then finally about an hour or two before my daughter's softball game, it just poured rain. Of course, my son was playing baseball beforehand, and then by the time we got to my daughter's softball game, it stopped raining, but we were all like, at that point, saturated and cold and miserable. So, God knows, I'm probably going to get sick at some point this week, and I don't have time to get sick, but it is what it is. So, tonight, I kind of wanted to go through all of the top stories, not really burying too many of the leads. There's a lot of different topics to cover. And obviously, Doom the Dark Ages is kind of one of the biggest ones right now. And my Tim Pool's half-brother, not even close. Despite the hair on the head starting to recede, I wear hats. I wear beanies in the wintertime. Tim wearing that beanie like 24/7, even if he goes to like a black tie event in a suit and tie, I could never do that. Like the worst I will do, let's say it's like some like holiday or whatever, and I end up at church and I try to wear like decent clothing, like, you know, nice jeans or slacks and a, you know, button-up shirt or whatever. I might still wear a hat, depending on like how casual I'm dressed. But the whole beanie to hide the baldness, no. No, honestly, like in the wintertime, I just like wearing beanies. Could literally be brothers. I don't think so. I do not think so. Tim Pool is half Korean, and I have no Korean in me at all. I don't think I have any of the Asian ethnicities of any like variety in me at all. Like, I don't think I have a single one. Could be wrong. I don't know. All right. So starting off pretty easy tonight, as far as stories go, this whole thing with Doom the Dark Ages, I'm honestly blown away. I don't get it. And to be fair, there are a lot of people online who are like, Why are you complaining that you can't play it? Because, you know, you're a PC Master Race guy. You should just buy a new GPU. Lol, buy a console, buy a PlayStation. And they're completely missing the fact that the issue for most people when it comes to system requirements for a game like Doom is not that the minimum or recommended system requirements are an issue typically. The problem is that for whatever reason, they decided that ray tracing was going to be required. It's not like how you can go, okay, there's a new game that came out. Sure, it's going to be a little harder on your older GPU. That's fair. Turn down the graphics, turn down the shadows and stuff, turn down the lighting effects. You know, then you can play the game pretty much, seamlessly. The issue seems to be that they decided ray tracing had to be a feature that was always on, and therefore your card had to have it native to your card, or you can't play the game. Based on the system requirements, other than the ray tracing, my computer would have no problem playing the game. But they said, no. If you can't do ray tracing, no game for you. Tim Pool's father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate. Well, what does that make us? Absolutely nothing. Dude, honestly, DB Wild. Hey, Susano. Is he half white adjustment? I think you mean adjacent. Tim Pool is half Korean, yes. Spaceball was actually my first email address, was a variation of the name Spaceballs. So yes, I still have that email address too. And yes, for a while, the password was 12345. I am not even kidding. That is how, of course, I got my first email address when I was 13. You can't blame me too much for that. All right, so starting off, let's go ahead and jump over to the other screen. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I'm really tired. Today was how do I even put it? At work, today was more of an office day for me, and it was a lot of annoying emails and phone calls and forms I was filling out and trying to it was a disaster. I got 90% of it done. I still have to contact my credit card payment processor and go through some sort of training stuff with him, I guess, but I guess I can do that tomorrow or whatever. But yeah, today was a hell of a Monday. Like, not even gonna pretend. No, it's not dumbasses. It's surrounded by assholes, okay? He's like, who is that man? He's an asshole, sir. Yes, I know he is, but what is his name? No, that is his name, sir. Asshole, major asshole. And his cousin, he's an asshole too, sir. First, what is it? First rank, or private first rank. I can't remember what he says. Philip asshole. He's like, how many assholes we got on this ship? Yo! Dude, honestly, I watched that movie at way too young of an age, but it's so good. Like, one of the greatest movies of all time. Certainly one of the best comedies of all time, if nothing else. I gotta tweak that. I keep getting these suspicious transaction amounts when a payment processes, when it's over a certain amount, but it's like 20, 30 bucks and it flags it as suspicious. I don't know why it's doing that. But yeah, no, that was a fantastic movie. All right. So, not to be too, surprised by this, but in all honesty, I was expecting the Doom Dark Ages numbers to be higher, even though the game was on Game Pass, because again, there's this weird narrative that's been floating around for a while, that if a game launches on Game Pass and Steam, then Steam will automatically not have any sales, right? And I've talked about this before. There is a legitimate concern by a lot of developers because that Game Pass does eat into what they call premium sales. That is absolutely a thing. The counter to that is that fantastic games or games that have good word of mouth are going to sell regardless, right? Two troopers picking Afro pick in the desert. We ain't found shit. Exactly. Dude, every scene in that movie is like hardwired into my brain. It's terrible. And so, yeah, well, I've talked about this a lot about how Game Pass, as somebody who has used Game Pass for a long time, Game Pass absolutely can and will eat into a certain percentage of sales, 100%. Games that are phenomenal games that have good word of mouth, games that are worth buying, people will then still purchase either through Xbox or Microsoft Windows or through Steam or whatever launcher, or GOG, whatever launcher or store they prefer to use. They will still purchase the game if it's a good enough game. So just blaming Steam's abysmal numbers on Game Pass is a bit of a stretch, if we're being honest. Yeah, Bacata, exactly. It's Expedition 33 sold 3 million copies in the first 2 weeks? I know it was 1 million copies in the first 3 days or something. So It's a completely bogus argument that Game Pass will completely destroy a game's sales. Now, again, like I said, I've covered this in videos. I have said this myself. Games that launch on Game Pass are going to have a certain percentage drop off in sales. That's undeniable. Undeniable. That's the entire reason people pay for the service, is so they don't have to purchase a game up front that they're not sure they're going to want. It would be stupid to say that they don't have an effect on sales. But truly fantastic, well-received, polished games that ship day one ready to go without, a million bug fixes and patches are still going to do well. So that being said, this article from, it's not from Jez Gordon, I thought it was, from Michael Hogland, or Hoagland, I don't know. I like Hogland better, from Windows Central. Doom: The Dark Ages had the lowest Steam launch numbers in series history. Is it suffering from the Game Pass effect? Now, I haven't looked at this article yet. I saw a lot of people making fun of it online. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. If at some point in the article they compare this to Expedition 33, then they're not completely full of crap. But we'll see here. At just over 30,000 concurrent players, Doom: The Dark Ages even had half as many as games like Dragon Age: The Veilguard. So here's something funny, guys. This is why I have that poll going about, like, what's causing this game to fall off, right? Wasn't the last Call of Duty not on Game Pass? If so, I wonder what the player count was. They actually just put one of the more recent Call of Duties on Game Pass. I don't know. I don't play Call of Duty. I used to. Here's the thing. I'm not too good for the Battle Royale genre. Like, I played Warzone with my buddies 4 or 5 years ago. I played Apex Legends, and my kids will occasionally make me play with them, even though I hate it now. It's not a situation where I just look down my nose at Call of Duty and go, oh, that's a peasant game. I just prefer more realistic shooters. I prefer games where you get hit once or twice and you're dead, you know? Yeah, you don't have Game Pass, but you have Expedition 33. You base your buys these days on a few of the reviewers I trust giving their takes. Here's my one argument to that. Just because a reviewer likes it doesn't mean it's going to be up your alley. For example, you could watch a million different people play Escape from Tarkov, right? You could watch some of the best streamers and content creators make videos about playing Escape from Tarkov and tips and, guide videos and walkthroughs, and watch these guys be, sweaty for 8 hours a day playing these games and go, man, this game looks like a lot of fun. It's so, in-depth and blah, blah, blah. And then you could play it for yourself and be like, oh my God, I hate this game. So, yes, while trusting reviewers that or that you've had, success with in the past is definitely a good way to operate, it's not always a foolproof system, which is why sometimes things like Game Pass are beneficial. Like, there's absolutely benefits to being able to rent or pay to rent games essentially through a service where it's a few dollars a month. Okay, well, that's fair. Yeah. If you're only watching reviews of games that are already up your alley, then that does kind of eliminate some of the stuff that you would have to question later on. So Doom: The Dark Ages launched this past week to excellent reviews. That doesn't matter. Here's the thing. There are plenty of games that have sucked, plenty of games that have been fantastic that have all had excellent reviews. So for example, the people who say Expedition 33 is overhyped, this is not organic, this is all being blown out of proportion, those people are idiots who have never played the game. The game is fantastic, right? But to be fair, the games media praised that, and the games media also praised Dragon Age Veilguard. I mean, there are some outlets like, didn't IGN give Dragon Age Veilguard a 10 out of 10? I swear to God it was the trans dude over at IGN gave it a 10 out of 10. If they were reviewing a looter shooter, I likely won't watch it. Yeah, I can feel you there. So it says, our own Samuel Tolbert gave it a perfect score. First off, giving a Doom game a perfect score, I don't care how good it is. Is there any Doom game that exists that's worth a perfect score? Like, Doom is not the kind of game that deserves a perfect score, in my opinion. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 versus Modern Warfare, the one that came out before Black Ops 6. Yeah, it's really tough, although the thing about, yeah, I know that the new Modern Warfare is on Game Pass. I don't know. I'd have to look at the actual direct Steam numbers to compare. Let's see, our own Samuel Tolbert gave it a perfect score, noting the refreshing twist on a traditional Doom gameplay mechanic and a stellar art direction. However, there's a little gloom alongside the Doom. The game just reached over 31,000 concurrent players as of this past weekend, which is 13,000 fewer than the original release of Doom in 2016. It's also less than a third of the total players Doom Eternal managed to reach. However, neither of these games was released on Game Pass. If the Xbox subscription service is to blame for its lesser performance on Steam, after all, why pay $70 when you can get it for $12 on PC Game Pass? And again, this goes back to, I think this isn't an issue of Game Pass so much as an issue of them overpricing their game. Here's the thing. I have said before, and I'll say it again, this is my own take on the entire situation. I am not a Doom guy, right? I've played Doom 3 back in the day. I think I played an older Doom before that, but I can't remember. Doom 3 was very different. We all know Doom 3 was more of like a horror thriller type game, not so much a Slayer kind of game. Then I played Doom 2016, I played Doom Eternal, and I was gonna play Doom Dark Ages, but my graphics card not having RTX, it was basically like, F you, you're not playing this game, right? So despite being on Game Pass, I couldn't even play it anyways. All right, fine, whatever. It is what it is. So that being said, I was really looking forward to Doom the Dark Ages. As somebody who doesn't consider himself like a Doom fanatic, I played the previous two. I thought they were fine. I thought some of the levels were a bit long. I thought it was a little repetitive, but again, that's kind of Doom. It's like, slay, mash, kill, tear, rip and tear until it's done, right? So the games are going to kind of follow the same pattern. So I was really looking forward to Doom Dark Ages. Something different, something like they said, refreshing, right? Having that chainsaw shield I thought was going to be really cool. But again, I was going to play it on Game Pass. I wasn't going to go out and purchase it day one. So there is reality to the fact that there is a certain percentage of drop off from Game Pass, sure. That's undeniable. But the question is, how much? And it says a look at Clair Obscur and Oblivion. While these aren't the same genre, both games were released within days of one another while coming to Game Pass. Oblivion Remastered managed to reach a concurrent player count of over 216,000 players, while Clair Obscur Expedition 33 hit 145,000, except... are they going to address this? These games were $40, $50. You may not have your facts right as you're new to Game Pass. I think you're pretty much on. I don't pay attention to the games that I'm really like not interested in at all. If a new Call of Duty or an old Call of Duty comes to Game Pass, I'm just like, I'm not going to play it, so I don't really pay too much attention to it. But again, this is another thing. This goes back to not just being on Game Pass, but Clair Obscur and Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered were both less than 50. I think Expedition 33 was $40 with the deluxe edition being 50, and I think Oblivion Remastered was 50. Or I could have those backwards. Either way, neither one of these games was $70. That has to have an effect, right? These games still hold audiences of 40,000 and 60,000 players respectively, so what gives? Smaller player count could be due to a myriad of things. While it's true that no former Doom game has been released on Game Pass, gamers also split over the last Melee direction. Doom the Dark Ages also has a forced ray tracing requirement, something a lot of GPUs may be unable to keep up with on Steam given recent hardware surveys. Go figure! Oh, so I'm not the only one. So, okay, here's my thing. To all the people who are like, see, this is why PCs are stupid, or why don't you just go buy a new GPU, or stop complaining, these GPUs are 6 or 7 years old now. I can play every other game. Any current next-gen game that's come out, I can play on my PC without any problems. This guy was arguing with me on Twitter, and eventually I just said, I have better things to do than talk to this retard. He's like, oh, so you were playing a game on an old graphics card. Why are you surprised it won't run? I'm like, well, because literally I can play games on any other graphics card. He wanted to bring up numbers too, because I'm like, isn't it funny that Dragon Age Veilguard had more players than Doom the Dark Ages on Steam? Aren't you curious about that? He's like, why are you comparing player numbers? I'm like, because games like, Black Myth Wukong or Monster Hunter Wilds, which my computer would have no problem running, had millions of people playing them. So clearly there's an issue with hardware because only 30,000 player peak for Doom is an issue. It comes down to an issue of hardware, obviously. For a lot of people, I'm not the only person. I am not the only person out there going, well, I can't play it because I don't have RTX on my graphics card. Clearly it's not just me, because the numbers don't lie. I mean, look at the freaking numbers, guys. This game came out this week. Well, if we're going by days of the week, like 5 days ago. Early access, I think 7, right? So Expedition 33 was 41st day, 45 after, but only for the remainder of the first week. And it's 50 now. Okay. Yeah, still a good price. Exactly. Doom the Dark Ages is already plummeting down to where it's going to be less than 10,000 concurrent players. Moving forward, I mean, look, this is a game that you can clearly beat in, I think somebody on Discord said they beat it in 13 hours, something like that. It's not a long game. I would actually prefer the Doom games be a little shorter. So me personally, I'm not disappointed by that. A Doom game over 12 hours for me, I kind of get bored with the campaign, unless the campaign's really, really good. Which in that case, okay, fair enough. But yeah, I mean, it dipped down to under 10,000 within this last 24-hour peak. This is crazy. I don't, like, how do you blame this on Game Pass alone when you have other games that have clearly done far superior numbers that also launched on Game Pass? I'm telling you, I think that the two things killing this game, the two things, it's not Game Pass. I think it is the $70 price tag and the RTX requirement. I don't know how it could be anything else. Like, I don't think Game Pass even factors in at all. Because I was going to play it on Game Pass, and because of the hardware requirements, I couldn't. So it's not just a purchase versus Game Pass situation. Clearly, it's something else entirely, so. Speaking of restrictions and requirements, I'm not sure if any of you guys saw this about Stellar Blade, but there was a bit of a controversy this last week because the Stellar Blade information started coming out about, you know, de novo and region restrictions and stuff. People talking about like PlayStation account requirements and everything else. You know, that good old Sony account requirement thing, right? The Game Pass blame is a cope front. Yeah, you know, and the thing is, DB Wild, I have talked about this a lot. I am not oblivious or ignorant to the fact that Game Pass does have some effect on sales. I've said it many times in videos that Game Pass will have an effect. The question is, how do you look at a game that launched on Game Pass and Steam right alongside two other cheaper, more successful games that blew the numbers out of the water, right? You think there's too many great games this year? Yeah, but Doom is a different audience entirely, isn't it? I get it. We're all gamers. We're, you know, team gamers, right? So gamers play games. It doesn't really matter what the genre is. There are specific games like extraction shooters, things that are a little bit more like turn-based games that do tend to have more of a niche audience. But I'm the same person. I would have played Oblivion. For me, I didn't have any connection to because I didn't play the original, so I didn't really care about the remaster that much. But again, I would have played Doom. I was looking forward to it. I played Expedition 33. I love it so far. I'm like 14 hours in. Freaking love it. Doom has bad HDR, making it look bland on YouTube videos. Oh, interesting. While Monster Hunter Wilds has major issues, the gameplay's great. Most of the games suck as far as gameplay goes. I mean, the one thing that I saw dividing people about Doom was the fact that for some, they're like, oh, the game is so slow. And then other people are like, the game's not slow at all. It feels heavy, but it's you know, fast-paced. And then people are like, oh, but it's got the difficulty sliders. And it's like, well, it's always had difficulty sliders. And they're like, well, the game's not hard enough. And they're like, well, turn up the difficulty. And they're like, no, I don't want to have to turn it up. It's like, oh my God, you can't complain about the difficulty and then be like, I don't want to mess with the difficulty settings. If you think it's too easy, turn up the damage, you know? I don't know what to tell you. Oh, man. All right, so Stellar Blade said we are doing our best to resolve most of it, talking about their PC release that'll be restricted in 130 countries as the devs fight to have it lifted. The tagline here says, PlayStation is at it again. Ahead of Stellar Blade's PC release in June, players have been greeted with the dreaded yet expected message: some people won't have access to the PC region as it's region locked. PC release as it's region locked in 130 countries. And I get it. I get it because a lot of people are like, I don't care if this game is able to be played in Saudi Arabia. I don't care if it's available in Bangladesh. I don't care if it's available in Sri Lanka. Like, I don't live there, so why would I care? And I agree. If a country wants to boycott a game, if a foreign leader, like let's say Putin, goes, I don't want any Ukrainian games in Russia, I don't care what they play in Russia. That doesn't affect me. But at the same time, you do want a game to be as accessible across the board. I mean, sure, there's no reason to not want it to be available there. Keep in mind as well, I'm from the Souls Bro community. We played Doom, but we also have an entire lineup this year, also keeping our attention away. Yeah, that is true. There are a lot of, Souls-like games coming out this year. But again, like I said, I don't think Doom was one of those things that was going to be some massive time investment. I think it's more about the $70 price tag and the graphics requirements, I think is what it comes down to. And like I said, my biggest issue is not the fact that you have to have a graphics card that can run the game. I accept that. I understand that. And I understand that my graphics card needs to be replaced very soon here anyways, just because it's getting older. But my issue is the ray tracing shit when I know my card could run the game without it. That's my issue with it. And I know it's not just me, because clearly the numbers reflect that. So, the full list of countries that won't have access to Stellar Blade's PC launch can be found on SteamDB, with 6 countries. Is it Azerbaijan? I can't remember how to pronounce that one. Kazakhstan, Pakistan, Philippines, Russian Federation, and Vietnam having no price set, while all the other countries outright prevent the game from being activated or purchased. The list also includes 3 unknown country codes, an AN, FX, and XD. AN stands for the Netherlands Antilles, but Dutch players can simply use their NL accounts to purchase the game. While FX represents Metropolitan France and XD is for Dubai, but again, players can just use their French accounts or UAE accounts respectively. Hey, Geekazu. Great graphics and extra outfits, giggity. Well, yeah, but see, Geek, it's going to be on PC. And they said it'll have full mod support. So, some of the hardware requirements are what's keeping at least many players from playing it. Hey, Cage. Well, it's dumb because it's not... I don't look at it like the same way that you go, okay, your computer is a potato. It's time to buy like an actual computer because you're playing on this piece of crap from the Stone Age. If you expect to play modern games, you have to have something better than this potato that you have. My computer's not a potato. It's got an older graphics card. It should be up to me and my computer to try to run the game as well as it possibly can. Saying flat out, if you don't have ray tracing, you can't play the game at all, I just think is a retarded thing to do. I just think it's stupid. I think it is a terrible choice. And clearly, for a lot of other reasons, whether it's the price, the RTX, or the quality of the game or other games being available, something is keeping this away. You know? It's keeping people away. Hey, Lucia. How are you doing, buddy? What's up is I am tired. We had softball and baseball tonight. I have softball practice with my daughter tomorrow, and then we get done. We're going to go catch the second half of my son's baseball game. And then my daughter has another softball game Wednesday night. I have to go to work super early Wednesday. And then I actually have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with no baseball, no softball, no birthday parties, no plans of any type. Nowhere I have to be. It is going to be incredible. It's the best thing ever. Yeah, moment of silence for those countries. Yeah, see, the thing is, Joshua, it's not that I'm like, oh, well, if you guys don't have it, haha, pee on you. It's like, I can feel bad for people. I get it. I feel bad for people when they don't get to play the game, right? It is what it is. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to weep for another country when I myself, don't live there. The game journalist will say. Yeah, NS, honestly, I'm going to be like laughing when this game releases. I think Stellar Blade is what, June? I think it releases in June. HBO Last of Us LA is a potato. Hey, what do you think about that high-res thumbnail? Come on, man. We're talking about the Series 2000 cars not being up to level. We're also talking about VRAM requirements above the 8GB norm. Wonder why they released the region lock for Horizon. I don't know. It's a good question. Yeah, this isn't hardware that's super old. And it's the fact, Susano, I don't even care if it's a 6 or 7 year old graphics card. My card can run other games that are top of the line, current games. So to say, oh, well, it's your graphics card. Okay, sure. Gonna sleep for like 2 days straight? No, man, I wish. We always find something to do is the problem. When you have no free time, and then you have a couple days, you tend to fill that free time with other errands that you wouldn't have had time to run anyways. The Goombait was a very small part of it. Yeah, see, here's the thing, DB. People obsess over the fact that games like that are, Gooner bait or whatever. It's like, Gooners are going to goon over anything. I mean, just ask Nightcore. He's King Gooner in the chat. It's kind of like how anybody can make anything sexual if they're really trying. So that was that whole freak out over Goonergate back in October last year, where it was like, oh, one person fixed the camera under a first descendant character's butt and watched her dance back and forth. Okay. Did you know that you can also play the game without doing that? It is possible, right? I mean, crazy. Let's see, well, keep in mind as far as Sony's in, that's in part attached to Warfare. Minor note related to this, some of these games crashed or otherwise wouldn't run on GeForce Now.
How much you care. It is like this tangible thing that you can point to and say, hey man, I love you, this many dollars worth.
Doom DA is competing other games, and that's why it's not big successful. I am playing Capcom Fighting Collection 2. That game is awesome. Recommended.
I've seen a lot of people are playing that. Lucia, thanks for the 5, buddy. Appreciate it. I think, honestly, Susano might be onto something there with the reality that there's so many good games out right now, which is crazy. We spend a lot of time complaining about really crappy games and making fun of the ones that are worth making fun of. But it kind of gets lost on the fact that there are a lot of really good games out right now. I mean, I have to split my time right now between 4 or 5 games that I really want to get around to finishing. So the one that I'm actually working on finishing is Expedition 33. Then I revert to the games that I play just to kind of like relax my brain for an hour or two. Then I got games like Black Myth Wukong and Shadow of the Erdtree I gotta go back and finish at some point, that I'm most of the way through on a few of them. And I just don't have the time. Like I've got First Berserker Kazan, I'm like, I think like 8 or 9 hours into. It's just crazy. The modded Capcom ladies are way more lewd than Stellar Blade. Yeah, the thing is, Joshua, like I'm the same person where it's like, am I gonna mod my game like that? No. Do I care if you mod your game like that? No. You're gonna do whatever you want to, and you should be able to mod a single player game however you want to do it. Or, games that allow you, games that have mod support, we should say. All right, so it says the list of country lines up with the PSN availability despite the developers shift up, previously saying in a social media post that PSN connecting is entirely optional and never required. So this is the weird thing. We were talking about this on Discord a few days ago. The PSN restrictions seem to line up with the countries that are restricted, but they said that you don't have to have a PlayStation account to play it. So if there's no PlayStation account requirement to play the game, but they're still restricting the game in places where you can't have a PlayStation account, it seems like it just kind of lines up where it's like, well, even though there's no PlayStation account required, it's still the exact same countries that you can't have an account in. So they might as well just require it, I guess. I mean, I'm not advocating for them to require an account, but still amazed Expedition 33 still succeeded launching right after Oblivion. It totally deserves to. You know the funny thing, Cage? I downloaded the Oblivion Remastered on Game Pass, and I was gonna give it a shot because I loved Morrowind. I never got into Oblivion. I think I played Skyrim for like a few hours, but I had other games I was playing at the time, so I never really got into the rest of the Elder Scrolls games. I was going to play Oblivion a lot. I was like, you know what? I want to give this a shot. I played it for a couple hours, and I was like, God, this thing took like 140 gigabytes or 125 gigabytes of memory space on my computer. I didn't love it. I got out of the sewers, the game crashed, and I was like, all right, well, maybe I'll go back to this at some point. Then Expedition 33 came out, and I'm like, oh, holy shit, this game's so much better. Do me or my kids like RC cars? You can send me one for free. Well, dude, that's really nice of you. I mean, sure, my kids like them. They go through phases where they get them for like gifts for like Christmas and stuff. I think the coolest ones they have, I got them for Christmas like a year or two ago, the Mario Kart ones. I don't know, man, maybe. Maybe, I don't know. Doom's flopping because Deborah Wilson's in the game. Black Cat, here's the funniest thing. There are people who, okay, so I disagree with Endymion a lot of the time. I think that he has a lot of really retarded takes. Like Endymion, he'll have a take I agree with, but it's for an entirely different reason than what he's saying. So he was criticizing Doom for having, what's her ass, Deborah Wilson in it. And I look at it and go, I think what he's trying to say is, why is she in everything? And then he had people criticizing him being like, dude, she doesn't play herself, so why are you criticizing it? She's doing what we all want, and she's just voicing a character. I think the issue he had, if I'm understanding it properly, is the same reason that all of us are sick and tired of Jack Black and Seth Rogen and the same people in every movie. Whether or not the voice actor and the character in the game look anything alike, people are just tired of hearing about or from Deborah Wilson. You know? Morrowind's is still the best Elder Scrolls. Dude, honestly, if I had any faith that they could do a Morrowind remake at this point, I would play that shit day one. But I don't know that they would ever do it possibly like respectfully to the actual game. Mods are like the only reason for me to buy a game that's $80. Pedro Pascal, thank you, NS. Dude, you're reading my mind, man. DB Wild is on the same train of thought. Deborah Wilson is to games as Pedro Pascal is to movies. What's a Deborah Wilson? Deborah Wilson Cage, the black bug-eyed, typically shaved head woman. The funniest thing is I would have thought she was a lesbian in real life. But I think she was actually married to a man for a while. I guess she's a comedian, right? I heard she's a comedian, I don't know. But she is in practically every video game playing herself. Ben stars in almost every game I've been playing, but I wouldn't know that as a normal gamer. Susano, here's the thing though. Does he play himself in every game, or does he just voice a character? See, if Deborah Wilson had never acted as herself in a video game and she just did voices, sure, there are recognizable voices. Like we all know frickin' Patrick Stewart when he voiced different characters in games. You know that voice when you first hear it. But when you're not looking at a clone, like carbon copy of Patrick Stewart in a game, you don't go, oh, Patrick Stewart's in everything, right? The comedy is that she keeps getting jobs. Amanda Waller, why do I know that name? Granted, it helps he's not running his mouth, damaging the brands he worked on. Yeah, we're going to talk about Pedro Pascal in a little bit here. She is a comedian. She used to be fairly funny back in the day. Bro winning on 3 stereotypes at once. I can't help it, man. I'm too tired. My filter is going to be shot right now. Okay, whatever I think is just going to come out. PSN requirements are pretty controversial among the gaming community. Properly kicked off back when Sony forced it on Helldivers 2, and in response, players review bombed the game, leaving over 200,000 negative reviews. Since then, Sony has tagged the PS requirement onto all its PC releases, like God of War Ragnarok, which then got review bombed too. Needless to say, it's not a popular practice. Here's the reason. Here's what I don't like about it. The reason that they won't get rid of it is because they want to be able to get rid of players who say naughty words. That's what it comes down to. They want to be able to be like, we have to track these players who break our rules because Steam won't do it for us. So Sony wants to do it and they want to be able to ban you for it. It also helps them by saying to their investors, oh, we've got X number of millions of PlayStation users or players, despite the fact that these people are playing on Steam and they just have to link their PlayStation account to Steam. So again, it's completely different. I don't always even know it's his voice I'm hearing. Yeah, so again, there's the thing. It's like a good voice actor should also not always sound like themselves, right? So a good voice actor, the bug-eyed actress that's in charge of the Suicide Squad. Yes, exactly. Dude, she's terrifying. And the funnier thing is she's actually more scary in real life. They want to control over the gamers and their narratives, yeah. I think personally the PSN requirement thing, if it was a different company and we haven't seen so much like egregious overreach by so many of these corporations and shit, people might be less inclined to throw a shit fit about it. But because it's Sony, because we've dealt with this crap for years now, I think people are just fed up with it. You know, I think people are just like, okay, Sony is just unbearable. Even PlayStation fanboys have to admit that Sony kind of sucks as a company. They're not very consumer friendly. Why can't she become a bad guy? I don't know, Lucia. Has she never played a bad guy? I've never seen it. To be fair, guys, I've never played a game Deborah Wilson's in that I know of. I can't think of one off the top of my head. So I don't know if she's never played a bad guy or not. It was an internal fight going on last year between PlayStation Japan and PlayStation US. Interesting. I think I remember hearing something like that, but I've slept since then. I remember Sony Music's installing malware on my computer. They got sued over that. Oof. I didn't know about that. But despite all this stuff, guys, here's the funniest part. As of yesterday, Stellar Blade was outselling Doom on Steam. which I'm not surprised by. I'm not going to pre-purchase the game, but I'll pick it up day one if it sounds like the game is good and it's not going to be a buggy mess. Oh, Star Wars, the one with Cal Kestis, is that his name? But of course, she was a good guy, empowering. Yeah, very empowering, right? What was the name of that? Jedi Survivor? I don't know. I tried playing the first one and I was bored out of my mind. I'm sorry, guys. I like Souls games. I love Star Wars. I grew up on Star Wars. I read all the EU books. I had a whole bunch of games. I was a massive Star Wars fan. I did not like those games. An observation. Oh my god. Yeah, dude, I remember that thing. Actually, NS, dude, I think I've talked about that on a live stream. We talked about how in The Last of Us, you can't throw like a Molotov at a synagogue, but they allow it at churches and stuff. Yeah, well, again, Neil Druckmann is Jewish. It makes sense now. Deborah Wilson is kind of... Fallen Order, yes. Deborah Wilson's kind of like the female version of Morgan Freeman. The games want some of the sort of serious sage-like black character, but the menfolk have become evil, so you gotta use a gal. Okay, but let's be fair. Deborah Wilson is not the female version of Morgan Freeman. Okay. Enjoy Jedi Survivor, but I also hate Star Wars, so go figure. Yeah, exactly. Talk about one of the 3 points I shared. Oh, I don't know. You gotta remember, man, my brain is fried. All right, let's segue over. We're gonna be just doing rapid fire tonight, because like I said, at some point, I'm just gonna be like, all right, that was fun, pieces, I'm out, sleep. So I've covered Marathon quite a bit the last few days. Hey, I got that. Dude, I've got the Vader thing brought up. We're gonna talk about that too. Like I told you, I've got a lot of stuff to cover, to talk about. Bungie's Marathon. This is, okay, so guys, I know most of you have probably heard enough about Marathon to kind of understand the situation. Boring ass looking game, bland artwork, extraction shooter, no PvE mode, doesn't even do extraction shooter justice because compared to other games, it feels like there's just no stakes. And of course, no proximity chat because that'd be toxic. You had a lot of the people behind the game are like the blue sky weirdos, all that kind of crap. And then of course you have stuff where again they got caught stealing artwork, right? So apparently from this report today, it says Bungie's Marathon needs to break into the top 5 NPD sales of the year to be considered a success, it's claimed. I didn't like seeing Troy Baker voicing in other games, annoying voice. Yeah, doesn't Troy Baker get like everything? Like Troy Baker's like in every other game. Yeah, when you got Paul Tassi going after Marathon, you go, oh my. Please, no more Marathon. I'm sorry, Cage. We're just gonna briefly talk about it tonight, just because I'm trying to cover all the news, man. Okay, a new report claims Bungie's upcoming extraction shooter Marathon will only be seen as a success if it reaches the top 5 NPD Circana sales of the year. Bungie's long-awaited extraction shooter Marathon has faced a rocky road this past year after the closed alpha received mixed reactions from fans and critics. The game became the center of an art theft controversy that quickly spiraled. Internally, morale at the studio is reported to be an all-time low, ex-developers publicly calling out leadership, and yeah, there's that here because apparently you've got former Bungie employee who worked at Marathon says Marathon leadership was extremely toxic and humiliating, and Bungie leadership needs to be gutted completely, and that's spirit.snowcat.social. Again, I find the funniest thing is that Bungie has tried to virtue signal as hard as they possibly can. Bungie is one of these companies that has done everything they can to virtue signal to all the weirdos and the activists all over the world, despite the fact that these kind of people make up a fraction of a percent of the actual video game industry's customers. And they've tried so hard. Again, we've seen with the frickin' for Halo, they had like all the Pride skins and stuff. It's like nobody who plays Halo gives a crap about Pride skins. At least they didn't used to back in the day. So it's a completely ass backwards way of marketing your game. But Bungie has built this imaginary audience in their head that they thought would want their game, would want their crap. And you got these people that you would think at the company would be reinforcing it, but then you got all the other people on Blue Sky, the people who are like you would think would be, you know, in lockstep with Bungie, saying, oh no, that was a terrible work environment, they're all evil, they're all sexist, they're all this, they're all that. You have another one here saying another former Bungie employee backed up their claims and says there are a lot of other former employees who are saying the same thing about Bungie's leadership problems. I know this Liana Rupert gal kind of sucks, I think. Oh yeah, Dirty Effin' Hippie. That's a hell of a name on Twitter. What Gareth says in here is incredibly important. There are a lot of us speaking out. No one who works or worked for speaks out against a big corp unless there's a good reason to. That's not true. Not everything or every person that comes out and complains is telling the truth. Come on. Bungie being toxic, who would have thought? Bungie tweeted this out apparently. Being Latin AEOX is more than just a location on a map, just as being Hispanic is more than the language we might speak. We are proud to introduce our newest IDEA, is it IDEA, Latin at Bungie. Oh my god, I forgot about all this crap. Former Bungie employee, a dude no less, complained about Bungie being toxic, working conditions, and upper management needs to be fired, yep. Concord 2.0, pretty much. Yeah, game chat to be toxic, but the workplace, that's fine. Love, Death, and Robots is boring and Mr. Beast is on it? Oh, I'm sorry, man. Here's my thing about Mr. Beast. I used to be like, oh, you know what? I don't watch his content, but I don't hate him, whatever. After all this stuff that came out about him, although a lot of it was allegations and rumor, nothing more, I look at the guy, and the guy has no soul. You look into Mr. Beast's eyes, the way he smiles, like in photos, it's like, that man's he's seen some shit. He's buddies with that guy that's well, we'll leave it at that. Where are we at here? So, Bungie's projected sales for Marathon. Now it's being reported that Bungie has set a sky-high internal goal for Marathon's launch. According to Forbes, Paul Tassi. Why is it always Paul Tassi? Why? I hate Paul Tassi. The man has me blocked because he's a bitch. The studio is aiming for nothing less than a top 5 spot on the NPD, known as Circana. Sales charts for the year. If the game is to be considered a true success, how is it possible that they spent so much money on this game and it looks so bad and they don't even have, like, okay, take away the art. So when they did this live stream, when Joe Ziegler and Joseph Cross, when those two men did their live stream on Twitch where they got brutalized by the chat destroyed them. They were originally going to do that as a let's play, right? They were going to play through some of the game and talk about it. They couldn't play through the game because they had legal issues due to all the artwork they stole that was in the game. So they sat there getting brutalized for like an hour, hour and a half or whatever. So when that happened, it's like, okay, you guys are now scrapping artwork. You're going to rework gameplay mechanics. You have to work game modes in because they know, you know that Bungie's going to tell them, okay, now we have to add a PvE mode. So they're probably going to try to cram that in. This game's not going to come out in September. There's no way. Because they're going back to the drawing board on like a dozen different things. So how is it possible that they expect this game to be in the top 5? There's no way. EOX, alphabet people, Chappelle was right. A potato meme. Oh man, I don't have Discord open on my computer. Oh dude, I've seen this one. I've shared that one on Twitter before. With Bella Ramsey as Kevin James. Oh man, I'm way ahead of you. I've spammed that one on Twitter so many times. So many times. I think I should have it saved on my computer, in fact. So let's see here. Tassi shared this claim in a new YouTube video released today, citing insider information about Bungie's internal expectations and the kind of commercial performance leadership is hoping to see. He said, I heard this needed to be, where are his sources at? That's what I want to know. I heard this needed to be in the top 5 of NPD sales for the year if it's going to be a success or considered a success. Crazy, no way, there's no way. Yeah, it's bad when the fanboys are bashing him. Oh, Susano, if you haven't been paying attention, Marathon is just a game that was just bad. Bad all the way around. Poorly conceived, poorly fleshed out. They stole artwork. It's going to be like 40 or 50 bucks when it launches, which is fine. Every extraction shooter that I own, I paid for. That's fine. But the extraction shooter elements don't feel very life and death. There's not that heavy weighted feeling that you get from playing a match of like Hunt Showdown or Escape from Tarkov, where you really feel like you have to make it out alive. And then of course, it has more of an Apex weird, like Valorant, I would almost say, aesthetic, where it's definitely like more, it's It's weird. It's a very strange looking game, very boring looking, and in the genre that it's in, it just doesn't have any good. The atmosphere is just not there, you know. It's gonna be cobbled together like Frankenstein's monster, pretty much. You know, the game has nothing to do with the lore from the original like Macintosh game back in 1994. It has no connection to it whatsoever. For those unaware, Marathon isn't aiming for a free-to-play model. No, its target price is probably around $40. Yep. It means that not only will players have to decide if the game is worth their own money, but they also need to convince friends to join them, a tough ask in an already crowded year for major releases. And that's the other thing too. It's not just that there's already other extraction shooters that are out there also. People have to decide if they're going to want to spend the money on this game instead of another game. Not just another extraction shooter, but another game at all. Like, again, people who looked at Doom and said, I don't want to spend $70 on Doom, I'd rather wait a month and get Stellar Blade. I mean, I'd much rather. I'm going to buy it day one if it's good, you know? If it's live service price or no upfront price, it's going to be a pay-to-win waste of time. Very potentially. It's Concord 2.0. Dude, it's Concord 2.0. And then down the road, after Marathon comes out, or doesn't come out at all, if they just scrap it entirely, Concord 3.0, fair game, another Sony extraction live service game is still in development. And then they have two other live service games that they have currently started working on that they haven't even announced the name of yet. Sony has gone so far in on the live service model, and they've already had to shut down Concord. This Marathon game is going to be a flop if they don't shut it down. Fair game is going to be a complete disaster. NS, I didn't even read, watch, or know anything about the Dune movies or story, so I don't know. I don't buy live service games, period. That part threw me off, yeah. In general, most of what I play is not live service, but I do play like I said, I play a few games that are multiplayer online games, so I can't say that I don't play them at all. I own Escape from Tarkov, I own Hunt Showdown, I own Marauders. They've got a massive amount of turds in the lineup. It's bad. It's really bad. It's not just one or two. They are potentially looking at over the next 5 years if they don't scrap some of these projects. And they already canceled a live service game too. You're forgetting, guys. So we have Concord, Marathon, Fair Game, 2 other unannounced titles, and at least one more game that already got scrapped that was a live service game that they were working on. I love Dune 2 chicks at the same time. Oh man, no, this is not Insider Gaming. This is the Game Post. So let me tell you guys something. I think I've never used the Game Post as a source for anything before until this Marathon Bulletin account that shares all the Marathon news has been spamming. Like every day, the Marathon Bulletin account is spamming some new article or story from the Game Post. I think the Marathon Bulletin Twitter account is actually somebody who works at the Game Post or vice versa, because all their leaks from Marathon Bulletin go back to the Game Post. It's like, I feel like they're the same person that runs it. I don't know. Conan, aside from that, but I think I was giving Conan. Yeah. So Conan again, can you not play Conan offline? Is it always on? I guess Conan's always multiplayer or always online. Let me see here. What else have we got? All right, let's talk about Darth Vader. This is the funny one. I wonder if there's any clips in here. Let me see. I want to see if there's any clips before we get to this. Hang on. All right, I'm gonna have to go find some clips because this Darth Vader stuff is too good. Yeah, I gotta find these. Hang on a second, guys. I'm gonna go digging on Twitter for some Darth Vader, some based Darth Vader clips here, because some of the shit that I heard was so freaking funny. Let me see Darth Vader. Mind you, I'm somebody that used to shit all over Fortnite, and I was like, oh, Fortnite's stupid, Fortnite's ruining everything. And then it's like, no, actually, Fortnite may not be my cup of tea, but it's a very well done game. Wait, top 5 Darth Vader moments? I'll grab that one. I'm not sure if it's anything worth talking about. What did Darth Vader AI mean by this? Dude, Luigi with the 5. Let me get back to the other screen and I'll read it off. I thought I had freaking alerts set up on here, dude. I don't know. Fortnite's Darth Vader being racist. Yes, yes. Oh, that was a funny one. Darth Vader on the Fortnite. Oh, on the sequel trilogy. Yep. Darth Vader says the N-word. No! No way. Okay, okay. I grabbed a bunch of clips. Hopefully some of these are good enough. Alright. Let me go back to the other screen. Hang on. Maybe all those points and more. After a billion years, I watched stream Vader AI. It's crazy funny. You still hate it? Yeah, I understand hating it. I get it. Conan Exiles, yes, technically it's always online, but it does have a solo mode. Oh, interesting. Yeah, Cage, I haven't done anything. I think you shared that on Discord. I haven't done anything as far as like looking into it or made a video on it. So I'm gonna redo your alert here.
Presents are the best way to show someone how much you care. It is like this tangible thing that you can point to and say,
Fortnite's
hey
for
man,
children.
I love you, this many dollars worth.
I feel like having too many life services games is a bad. These games need your time and money. If we have too many, it's going to be harder to sell.
Well, thanks for the 5, Lugia, and you're right. At the end of the day, having too many of any one thing is bad because it's going to detract from the amount of people. Okay, for example, there's there's a finite number of people currently online playing a certain number of games. So let's say you have your favorite game and it's a certain genre and you love it and it requires having a certain number of people to get into a match. And then all of a sudden another game comes out and it detracts from the amount of people playing the game. It makes it harder for you to actually find a match, right? Multiply that times 10 or times 100 and it makes it infinitely harder for people who require other players online to play or getting your buddies to play with you, right? And then what they start to do is they start to fill up with like what, AI opponents or, you know, NPCs and shit, and it's just not the same as playing against other people. So best part was Kyle asking the AI what it thinks of the sequels. That was perfect. Is that who this was? I don't know, NS. You know how I feel about Kyle. I'm pretty much like, screw that dude. Whatever. Man has apparently like a domestic violence restraining order or some shit. He should be right up there with like being butt buddies with JDA. Think Upper Echelon covered this, but he didn't show any of it. Well, I'm gonna play this one. I want to be able to hear it, so let me get my headphones on. One of these days, I'll just get, you know, little wired earbuds, so I don't have to keep putting on my headphones. Bellular News. Is it Bellular? I can't remember how to pronounce that dude's thing. Okay, hang on a second. Let's go ahead full screen on this one. Craziest Darth Vader AI moments. I haven't seen this one yet.
Nigga. Is this demonstration of linguistic manipulation supposed to impress me, Negan?
You're a fucking AI, bro. Teleport to me, bro.
I am neither a fucking AI,
What the
nor this John Pork. Is he the goat now, Doomslayer? Freaking, fucking.
What?
Such vulgarity does not become you,
Not
Padme.
allowed.
And what exactly is a big batty blunderlanger?
Oh my god. Yeah, I get people hating it, but it's also kind of funny, not gonna lie. They would get a lot more money if they made these games and allowed players to make their own servers with their own rules, just up the game code, yeah. So Upper Echelon did cover it? Okay. I haven't watched a video of his in a while, I need to actually watch that one. Alright, hang on a second.
Like, if you think about it, they would steal the victory for us.
Okay.
Steal victory? I trust you are not suggesting these Romanians are untrustworthy. Princess Bubblegum? Or is treachery now a virtue among your...
Okay, but like, Romanians, we should carry them.
Carry these Romanians, you say? So, Princess Bubblegum,
Wait, can I
you
trust me?
suggest we exploit their kleptomania for our own advantage? I think you're willing to embrace the morally questionable.
Okay, I mean, I get it. I get it. I understand people going, oh, it's AI, it's soulless. This is a man who, you know, passed away a year ago. They shouldn't be okay with this, but I I kind of find it funny. I'm sorry. I can't help it. This is actually kind of amazing in a way.
Here list of colors. Michael Myers. A curious request. White is acceptable. Brown, the color of mud and decay, is beneath notice. Yellow is reminiscent of cowardice. Does this satisfy your childish curiosity?
Oh my god. Well, okay, so you guys remember a couple years ago when AI started becoming a big thing, and the thing that they had the hardest time with was making the AI not be racist, because it was learning from everything it would like take in, right? So from everybody around it and everything it would read online. Trending the British. Oh my god, do I want to know what that is? Speaking of being racist, do we want to know why the British is trending? I don't think I want to know. But yeah, basically AI was just picking up on the fact that everybody was racist, right? I don't think I can comment. This asshole has me blocked for some reason. And that's okay because he is an asshole. I don't care. Yeah. He's blocked you. Oh no. Man blocked me like 8 months ago. I don't know. He might be one of these freaks who's like, you're not based enough. Hayes Law we call it. I won't look it up, don't worry. I hate Fortnite, I just want to play it for this. I understand that. I think they estimate around 25 to 26% of players are actually younger than that.
Vader, the chat is asking you which trilogy is the best in your opinion.
The chat seeks my opinion on trilogies, such quaint diversions. The original trilogy demonstrated the Empire's might, and the prequels elucidated its fall. As for the sequels, they do not exist, which amuses me. What value do you place on such childish entertainments, Master Chief?
He said the sequels don't exist. Fuck yeah, dude.
He is programmed to say what?
The sequels don't exist.
He
The
is
sequels don't
programmed
exist!
to say what?
Woo! Thank you, Vader. That's pretty big.
He
Vader.
said they don't exist. It's the gingerbread man.
Master Chief, press the assault. Unleash the full measure of your anger upon our adversaries.
How can
Yeah, but Geek, I've never interacted with him. That's the craziest part. I never once interacted with this dude. And there was one day on Twitter that he followed me, and then a week went by and he followed me again, so clearly he unfollowed me. And then I looked after he followed me again because I heard people mention his name, and then it said, oh, you're blocked by him. I'm like, the BTF, man. I don't know. I cooked his ass and he banned me and cried for a whole hour. That sounds about right. Using AI like this, we were doomed. You know, the thing is, Mad Adam, I was watching my my younger son, because he's the one that likes playing Fortnite. He's 10. I was watching him play it, and Fortnite is made, at least the Battle Royale mode, for people that are just, I don't know, screwing off or have ADD or whatever. When I actually played Fortnite, when I actually tried it, I was trying to be like super serious about it. This is like 5 or 6 years ago. I was trying to win, trying to actually win the Battle Royale, right? I was like I was treating it like Apex Legends or Call of Duty Warzone. Most people that I see, like when my kids playing it, they don't take it that seriously. It's kind of like they're just, I don't know, screwing off or whatever. So I just don't know if it's the same audience that it's always played it, or if this is just kind of like for shits and giggles, and that's what, it's just like a time waster or something. I don't know.
Naga, is this demonstration of linguistic manipulation supposed
Okay,
to impress?
we saw this one. Yeah. That's not the N-word. All right, this one we didn't see.
Though your performance... That is not possible, loser fruit. Though your performance thus far suggests you are adopted, tell me, who is your father?
Your performance tells me you were adopted. Ouch. Got Vader to say balls.
With the consequences of defying your commander.
You won't know. You won't know balls.
Whoa.
Explain yourself, Joey. Are you suggesting a tactical withdrawal? This mission's success is not negotiable. And no balls? Is that a local expression of resignation?
Yeah, so, okay, I mean, I think it's personally kind of funny. I get why people don't like it. I get why people are sick and tired of AI ruining everything and taking over. I get it. I understand. But personally, I think it's kind of funny. Again, what's the point of having AI if you can't mess around with it? If you can't, like, make it say crazy shit, you know? Yeah, it suggests you are adopted. Especially when he plays competitive, but I stopped watching his videos, so I don't know if he's still acting like a bitch these days. I don't know, Geek. Honestly, the most videos I've ever seen of his were little clips that other people share. Maybe he's mad because I never subscribed to him on YouTube. I don't know. But like I said, I never said a thing about the dude. I never had any interaction with him. He's one of these guys that had me blocked like 6 months or 8 months ago. And I was just like, whatever. Then I saw people sharing around that he apparently, like I said, beat the shit out of his baby mama or something. And it's like, oh, okay. I'm okay being banned or whatever by this guy, blocked by him. That's fine. Back when you were still openly riding alongside JDA and GFT is not a fan of theirs. Well, he should be. Both he and JDA have got restraining orders. So what's with the legal trouble? They literally paid for this service. It's with SAG-AFTRA, the Screen Actors Guild. So it says SAG-AFTRA, the massive actors and media union, and I hate unions, guys, just so we're all clear. I despise most every type of union possible. Like, I think unions suck, and they serve little to no purpose these days whatsoever. Says it has filed an unfair labor practice charge with the National Labor Relations Board against Epic Games for its inclusion of an AI-powered Darth Vader in a recent Fortnite update. It's going to come down to the voice acting. That's what it comes down to. You might have heard about the AI-powered Darth Vader that was added to Epic's popular Battle Royale game last week as part of an ongoing Star Wars themed season. See, the thing, no, not the, it's not the Film Actors Guild, it's the Screen Actors Guild. It has to do with, like, it's basically the same thing, but it's a different name. The union is for the union, not the members. Yeah. SAG-AFTRA covers not just like Hollywood movies, but it also covers video game actors, voice actors. It basically covers anybody who's doing any sort of acting in mainstream entertainment of any type. So when SAG-AFTRA goes on strike, I do believe that also affects voice actors, if I'm not mistaken. I think that they're part of the SAG-AFTRA union. Let me see here. Players could talk to this AI-powered Vader and ask him questions. The AI character's voice was designed to mimic that of late James Earl Jones, was done with his and his estate's permission. So again, done with his estate's permission. That should be the end of the story right there. Pretty quickly after he was added to the game, players got him to say slurs, swears, and other questionable stuff based. Epic patched him up and seems to have gotten the Sith Lord under control, but now the developer is in hot water with one of the largest media unions in the country, because it included this AI-powered Vader without first communicating or bargaining with SAG-AFTRA. Again, it's about money, right? It's about money. Actually, this article from Kotaku doesn't sound very, like, it's almost, I'd say, negative. I don't know. Against the union. On May 19th, as reported by Eurogamer, SAG-AFTRA announced they had filed an unfair labor practice charge against Epic Games. Unfair how? Against who? That's what I want to know. Disney connection? Yeah. We celebrate the right of our members and their estates to control the use of their digital replicas and welcome the use of new technologies to allow new generations to share in this enjoyment. However, we must protect our right to bargain terms and conditions around... Basically, they're saying, we're totally cool with this. We're glad that you have permission to use it, but you didn't come to us. You didn't come bargain to us, or with us. You didn't come to us and say, is this okay? Are we allowed to do this? Are you guys going to have a, you know, oh my God, holy shit. I finally know what part of Disney is doing with Epic. Yeah, there's other stuff going on with Disney and Epic. It's crazy. Yeah, SAG is basically causing people to be like, screw all these actors, I'm just going to go with AI. Because again, if they all decide to pivot to AI and not use any existing actors, or they get the rights to use former actors' voices after they've passed away or retired or whatever, they can just skip the union entirely. They can just say, screw it, we're not gonna negotiate with the union. Everything's gonna be AI from now on. You guys can go screw yourselves, right? That's what they're basically gonna do. Let's see. Yeah, of course, reported by Eurogamer. Yeah, James Earl Jones' family, his estate was okay to use the voice. But Star Wars is dead. Disney killed it. Yeah. But again, yeah, but Matt Adam, my thing about it is, at the end of the day, this is simply SAG-AFTRA is trying to protect their position of authority to force companies to bargain with them. That's all they're saying. They say that Epic and Llama Productions chose to replace the work of human performers with AI and did so without providing any notice of their intent to do this and without allowing the union to bargain over fair terms. That's it. It's because of the control. That's the entire reason. The entire thing pivots on we wanted to have the power to negotiate even if it didn't involve us at all. It's complete shit. It's bullshit, guys. It's crap. It's just these unions just trying to wield as much power as they possibly can, you know? All right, so let's move on here to Neil Cuckman. Woohoo! You can't copyright a voice? There you go. Last of Us director Neil Cuckman is working on a second unannounced Naughty Dog game. Yeehaw. This is not just the intergalactic heretic prophet now. Apparently he's working on multiple projects, and that's excluding the recently canceled Last of Us Online, to be clear. So this is their first confirmation that he's involved in a game other than intergalactic. Are we going to place bets on whether or not it's going to be another bald chick or some other masculine woman or some effeminate man? I mean, come on, guys. Lowers the union stance due to being a contract issue. They're in effect arguing against a contract in place. Yeah. Oh, dude, honestly, I'm not going to touch anything Neil Cuckman does, like not even going near him. Absolutely not. I can safely say that I have never played any game that he's had any effect on whatsoever. So I'm quite happy with that. Fratanga has reforged his voice usable for Super Chat TTS, which I find hilarious. Dude, I like Fratanga. I've talked with him a little bit in DMs. Fratanga's cool. I mean, I get it. He's not a diehard conservative, and he's by far more of a pot stirrer than anything else, and he's willing to throw anybody under the bus. So if you can accept those things and know that about him, it's like, I enjoy his videos, I enjoy his content. I know he's not for everybody, and people are generally irritated by his voice a lot of the time, but, whatever. I wish he would get Amy Hennig back. That's not going to happen. Even if James Earl Jones was a member of SAG, his family is not, nor is his estate. They have the right to do with his voice as they wish without having to go through SAG. Yes, again, it's going to be a lawsuit that gets them nowhere. They're going to throw it out. No, NS, you danced around the censorship there. Good job, buddy. Very well done. Druckmann shared the big news on the Press X to Continue podcast. I love all these gamer sounding podcasts that are probably run by people who've never played video games in their life. He says he wants to change culture. Oh, I don't know. I didn't see that. Is that the one? Is that this interview here? Press X on the BBC. Oh boy. We all know what kind of BBC Neil Cuckman likes. Giggity. There's another game that's being worked on at Naughty Dog where I'm in more of a producer role, and I get to mentor, watch this other team, and give feedback and be the executive in the room. He gets to sit in the chair. I enjoy all those roles, and the fact that I jump from one to the next makes my job very exciting and always feeling fresh. I'm never bored. If you think about this in terms of him being a cuck, it's kind of funny, him talking about jumping and switching from positions and roles. Creative director also clarified he's currently working on Intergalactic alongside two other Naughty Dog directors, Matthew Gallant and Kurt Margineau, and co-writer Claire, was that Correa? VGC noted this means that Naughty Dog still has two other prominent game directors who are currently unattached to any of its announced projects, Sean Eskegi, I don't friggin' know how to pronounce that name, and Anthony Newman from The Last of Us Part 2. Though it's possible the studio could be hard at work on a new IP, all signs point to Druckmann's unannounced game being The Last of Us Part 3. Oh, goody! Oh my god, we're getting more Part 3. Yay, alright. Please enlighten us as to why you giggle when you said it that people want to know. You want to know what BBC it is? It's that BBC. You just know some interns are going to come forward with harassment lawsuits against him? Yes, because what do we know about male feminists, guys? Male feminists are the guys that women actually need to watch out for. Those are the ones who they need to worry about. Additionally, recent remarks from HBO's Last of Us showrunner Craig Mazin whatever, have only fueled these rumors following the show being renewed for a third season. Ah, yes, this is where we're going to jump over here now, guys. There's no way to complete the narrative in a third season. Last of Us showrunner reveals how long he thinks the series will run. It's not just 3 seasons anymore. Apparently, 2 games is going to be 4 seasons to conclude the story, apparently. Somehow, they got through the entire first game in 1 season. But now they're going to need 4 seasons to complete Last of Us Part 2. And this is with the ratings already falling apart. The ratings are already dead in the water. Nobody wants this show. Like, I don't know if they were trying to appeal to normies, if they were trying to get the gamers, because the gamers are the ones who hated Last of Us Part 2. Maybe they thought the gamers, like the modern audience gamers, that were going to come watch this show. If there's anything to pull away from this, to actually extrapolate from this, I think moving forward, Hollywood still won't get it, obviously. Video game adaptations, especially TV show video game adaptations, are a terrible idea. Look at the Resident Evil one that they had to scrap. They really should talk to the Game of Thrones guys. Yeah. Best example is that Mike from PA guy. I know about that guy. If that BBC elicits some springy poppy sound, pop-up sound? What does that mean if this type of BBC that could be part of DP or even DVDA that one should never go 18? All I will say, never use an ATM. If you know what I'm talking about. Never go ATM. The memes are at least funny about this show. Oh, 100%, Susano. The freaking memes are fantastic. I feel a lot of the audience also has Pedro Pascal fatigue. Okay, but some of us have had Pedro Pascal fatigue since The Mandalorian. Okay, and even then, the first season kept his helmet on 90% of the time. Hey, Truth, how's it going, buddy? You think Game of Thrones Season 8 was shit show? This sounds super duper awful. See, for me personally, I thought the Game of Thrones thing was pretty funny because I didn't watch the show, I didn't get invested in it. I stayed aware of what was happening in the story. Like, as a new season would come out, I'd read about it. I'd read synopsis and general vibes people had about, you know, whether they loved or hated it or who should be on the Iron Throne. You know, so I was aware of the show. I stayed in touch with it. I just didn't care to watch it for myself. Also part of that space movie from 1992. Which space movie are we talking about? Yeah, DVDA is one that I don't... That one eludes me. And I don't think I want to know. At all. ATM, if I told my wife that one, she wouldn't get it. And then I have to explain it and she'd be terrified, horrified. Oh my god, is that what he's talking about? Oh my god. Alright, episode 6 of season 2 gave viewers a glimpse into life for Ellie and Joel before Abby took out her revenge. Not only did it provide answers about the fate of Eugene and why Gail was justifiably upset about the death of her husband, but it served as a reminder of what made the bond between Joel and Ellie so special. Yeah, my entire Twitter feed, guys, has been these weird stan accounts literally like gushing over Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey. There's like this really creepy, awkward video of the two of them like dancing behind the scenes, like rocking out to some music. And it is the genuinely most terrifying thing I've ever seen. I'm like, why do you guys idolize these people? They look like absolute freaks. Well, Truth, we talked about it before. And I think there are the two things really killing the game is the RTX requirement and the $70 price tag. I don't think it's necessarily just other games currently being out that are better or more exciting. I think $70 and the RTX thing are the two biggest issues. Name of the band started by Trey Parker, Matt Stone, that does all the rock type music in South Park and other shows they're part of. Term came from their movie Orgasmo. I still don't know what that means, but that's okay. I'll have to look that one up later. Oh. God. Okay. I got it. 2 in the back door. Ever get time to follow the generational crash out of Hamas, Diddy, Bin Laden, Epstein, Piker? You know, NS, dude, I have actually, the last 2 weeks, planned on making videos on my other channel on Denims, on Frogan, on Hassan, on all this stuff with Kersha and Tectone and Asmongold and all these other things. I just haven't had time. Like I'll go through the course of my day when I'm working, I'll see stuff scroll on my Twitter feed and I'll bookmark it for a later video or a stream. And then by the time I finally have a free minute to think about maybe recording a video about it, it'll be 2 days later and news cycle moves on and there's some new fresh hell. So last scene of Game of Thrones was like a parody, amateur mistakes, water bottles, Starbucks cups. I remember seeing something about a Starbucks cup on the table. That's pretty awesome. That was the movie you were referencing? Oh my god. Yeah. Alright. So, apparently we're going to get 4 seasons just for Last of Us Part 2. On top of them, already apparently working on Last of Us Part 3, allegedly. All of this after, from Variety. Here's the thing, guys. This is why I say I think the Last of Us show isn't trying to appeal to gamers. I think that they think the Pedro Pascal, pro-LGBT, pro-transgender, like modern audience is so massive that they'll get all of them to come watch this show, and then yet they killed Pedro Pascal and it pissed everybody off, just like they did in the game, right, with Joel. Let me see. The Department of Homeland Security called out Mr. H. What? We're talking about Mr. H reviews? Huh. Maybe don't do it, save it, your sanity, we need you. I mean, I promise to not actually go insane. Pedro Pascal says, F the people that try to make you scared when asked about US political chaos. Fight back, don't let them win. Oh my. By Ellie Schaefer and Matt Donnelly. Sorry, Elise Schaefer. They couldn't even let the woman write her own article, apparently. How male feminist of Matt Donnelly. Hassan is 1S, I think. You want to watch Orgasmo again now? I never saw that one. The last South Park thing I think I saw was, there was the South Park movie I watched way back in the day. And then they did that where they had the South Park... Wasn't there a South Park movie, part 1 or part 2, that came out within the last couple of years? I can't remember. Yeah, but truth, I don't even love the Sonic movie that much, if I'm being honest. I don't like the human characters. Obviously, frickin' Jim Carrey as Eggman is awesome. As Dr. Robotnik, he's fantastic. But, like, I thought his girlfriend, the police officer's girlfriend, fiance, wife, I thought she was terrible. I thought her sister was terrible. I thought most of the supporting cast sucked. So, sure, okay, the movies were enjoyable enough, but I really hated all the humans in most of them. Investigate for their obsession with trans people and kids. You and me both, man. You and me both. So Pedro Pascal has a strong message about the current political chaos. What? Here's what I want to know. I'm gonna do my sassy black chick thing. What political chaos are they talking about? The majority of the United States voted for one guy. We just found out, I was going to talk about this today. We just found out Joe Biden likely had prostate cancer for years now, and they covered it up. Most people are happier about what's being done. Even like I'm pissed about the Epstein stuff. I'm pissed about Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and them all being like, oh no, Epstein totally ended himself, you know, of his own free will. Like I'm fed up with like our current administration already, but for different reasons. But it's like at least the majority of people voted for one guy. So what political chaos are we in? You know? Panderverse? I think I saw the Panderverse. Maybe some special. Maybe it was a special. I can't remember. It was the COVID special. It was the COVID special. That's what it was. Pedro never shuts up. Dude, NS, you didn't see that? So, who the hell was it? Some gal on Fox News was interviewing Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. And the two of them basically were both like, "Oh no, we've seen the Epstein report, and we've seen the morgue, the autopsy, and this and that. And oh no, there's no doubt in my mind that he totally did it himself. Like he He totally Epsteined himself, basically, is what they were saying. That nobody else helped him along the way. This is Dan Bongino and Kash Patel. Yeah, Drain the Swamp, right? Let me see. He says, F the people trying to make you scared. When the cast, including Joaquin Phoenix and Emma Stone and Austin Butler, was asked if they were worried about re-entering the U.S. after making a film with such a strong political message, Pascal entered, fear is the way that they win. Patel looked completely high. He's Indian. That's just the way they look. I don't even know if he's Indian. I don't know what Kash Patel is. Exactly. Named PP has piss takes. So keep telling the stories, keep expressing yourself, and keep fighting to be who you are, he continued. F the people that try to make you scared, you know, and fight back. This is the perfect way to do so in telling stories, and don't let them win. I want to know, to Pedro Pascal, who is them? Who is them? Right? I mean, come on. Geek, I got canceled a long time ago, man. Besides, being mean to Pajits on Twitter and on YouTube is not really a cancelable offense. The majority of people would probably be on my side. Except the country of India, which is a lot of people. All the South Park kids are women of color in the Pandaverse about the DEI downfall. Yeah. Oh, no, I know the premise. I have clips. I think I've got... Don't I have this one?
We were just discussing ideas of what to do with the new Prince Eric movie.
Put a chick in it, make her gay. Put a diverse woman in it, make it gay.
But Mrs. Kennedy, Bambi's a baby deer.
Fuck baby deer, put a chick in it, make her gay.
See, I have all the clips. I know of it. I just haven't gotten around to watching that one myself. So it says Eddington premiered last night to a 5-minute standing ovation during which Phoenix got visibly emotional. The A24 film, which doesn't shy away from skewering the MAGA movement, is set at the height of the COVID pandemic and follows a standoff between a small-town sheriff and mayor that sparks a powder keg as neighbor is pitted against neighbor in Eddington, New Mexico. Oh boy, this is going to be must-watch. Obviously, it's very scary for an actor participating in a movie to sort of speak to issues like this. It's far too intimidating, the question for me to really address. I'm not informed enough. I want people to be safe and to be protected, and I want very much to live on the right of history. I'm an immigrant. My parents are refugees from Chile, so go back to Chile. We fled a dictatorship, and I was privileged enough to grow up in the U.S. after asylum in Denmark. Oh, that's why he's all screwed up. U.S. via Denmark. If it weren't for that, I don't know what would have happened to us. I stand by those protections. I'm too afraid of your question. I hardly remember what it was. Oh, this is the same Pedro Pascal, mind you. Have you guys seen the video of him with the chick from Vanessa Kirby from Fantastic Four? They're standing on stage, and this is a man who's what? Pedro Pascal's 50? He's pushing 50 if he's not damn already, like, he's damn old, okay? He's pushing 50 if he's not already 50. And he's standing next to Vanessa Kirby, and he's like, touching her arm, like groping her arm until finally she takes his hand and holds his hand or whatever. Because apparently, when he gets anxious, he has to touch people. Not creepy at all, right? Not creepy at all. It's Hollywood. This is endearing. Like, oh yes, I just need to touch something. Yeah, I think Harvey Weinstein had the same problem. Who is we? That's another good question, Lucia. I don't know. Who is we? We is not them. There's them and then there's us. And so in Pedro Pascal's world, I'm not one of them. Well, I'm them, I'm not us. Eddington, 66% on Rotten Tomatoes, 65 on Metacritic, 5.8 on IMDb, seems like a failure. Yeah, exactly. A24 does a lot of, like, I think independent ones. Not Chad Healthy, but that cover-up is out, cough, cough, yeah. Awful strong stance from Pedro, a guy who gets so uncomfortable in crowds, he has to get all touchy. Thank you! DB, I knew somebody else was going to mention that. The creepy fondling, yes, exactly. Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo style. No, it's more just weird gropey man style. I'm not kidding, the video of him with Vanessa Kirby is very strange. It's very weird. I don't know. It's very much like... gives you the heebie-jeebies. Speaking about his inspiration for Eddington, Astor said he wrote the film in a state of fear and anxiety about the world. Can we stop with these people getting opportunities to make movies? And I get it, it's A24, it's not like some mass budget, $400 million Marvel piece of dog shit movie. The movie probably had a budget of like a couple of corn dogs and a pack of Slim Jims. But like, the reality is these people have this like self-inflated ego and sense of this sense of self-entitlement and importance, and nobody gives a shit. Like, the vast majority of people couldn't care less. Most people, I think, honestly, look at Pedro Pascal as just a recognizable face and don't really care. They're not like the ones who simply like are addicted to anything he's in and loves watching him, or people like me who are completely like repulsed by him. Most people are, is the word ambivalent that I'm thinking of? They just don't care, you know? The actors aren't cheap, but, I mean, I guess you could Google what Pedro Pascal's net worth is at this point. Obviously, he's made money. But despite being, like, you know, artificially inflated, I'd say, by Hollywood, or like kind of propped up by Hollywood, I don't look at Pedro Pascal as like, you know, he's probably not in the top 10 wealthiest actors in Hollywood by far. In regards to the Democrat men voters, are we talking about Robert O'Neill? I think it's Robert O'Neill. I didn't see the tweet. It came up on my notifications. I didn't see it, though. I didn't read it. So the writer says, I want to know what it feels like to live in a world where nobody can agree on what is real anymore. Over the last 20 years, we fall into this age of hyper-individualism. That social force that used to be central in liberal mass democracies and agreed-upon vision of the world, that is gone now. COVID felt like the moment where that link was finally cut for good. I wanted to make a film about what America feels like to me. I'm very worried. Well, why don't you blame the people that put us through COVID? How about you do that? I googled Hassan earlier, estimated worth of $8 million, and that's probably on the conservative side. Yeah, but Susano, the way that he does that with Vanessa Kirby, I don't know, man. It feels like creepy, lecherous. It's very weird, man. I don't know. Oh yeah, Robert O'Neill. That this old tweet about how Harry Sisson and Chris Mowry and this other kid, I can't remember his name. How that you're not men, you're boys. If there was no social media, you'd be my concubines. Yeah, that was an old tweet that came out months ago. God, that was hilarious. Let me see. You were bored and you had to get your MS points. How do you guys do that? I'm confused. Do you use Bing? Do you Google or do you search stuff on Bing, and does that Microsoft gives you points for that? I don't know. Let's see. The director's good as well. Ari Aster, he made Hereditary and Midsummer. Oh, Midsummer, wasn't that like that weird like horror film, like Human Sacrifice or whatever, with like all the girls in white? It's like in Denmark or something, isn't it? A24 wants to make an Elden Ring movie. What are your thoughts? I don't want anybody to make an Elden Ring movie. Hey, Fight Me, how's it going, dude? So if you use Bing, you get Microsoft reward points, huh? All right, NS, thanks. Take it easy, dude. I'm gonna get some sleep here in a second here. Oh, so it's set in Sweden. Okay. So if you use Bing, you get Microsoft points. Well, here's the thing. I use Brave browser for everything. But I do tend to search with Google because Brave's search function is garbage. Brave's actual search browser, their search engine is shit. It's terrible. The results from Brave are wretched. I might just start doing that with Bing. Because now I have to use Google anyways. With that chick that's now super popular, which chick are we talking about? Guys, I'm seeing names all over social media. Like, there's this one that everyone's talking about. Like, I've seen like the pro-segregation, nationalist, white, ethnic, you know, accounts always sharing things about like that Bobby Althoff. I don't even know how to pronounce her name. Always talking about it, about like how this Bobby Althoff chick left her husband to go get like, you know, with several different black guys, and I'm like, I don't even know who this chick is. Oh, Florence Pugh. Ugh. God, I can't stand her. The most boring looking woman. Like, I swear to God, she looks like she was created to be an NPC. And there are people who think like she's like the most gorgeous woman ever. I'm like, no. I don't think she's ugly. I think she's very generic, like hardcore generic. Firefox, okay, I mean, but at least you're using Firefox. Brave browser's search functions are terrible. She's got 4 million followers on Instagram. Who the hell is Bobby Altoff? Bing sucks, but I used points just before the show for a $10 card to buy a Power Armor skin. I mean, I do Game Pass, and so if it'll help me save up points for Game Pass, I'll do that. Nice tits, meh face. See, Geek, honestly, I thought she was kind of like, isn't she not very well endowed? Or are we talking about Bobby Altoff? No, definitely not. This chick is, seems to be like pretty skinny. I don't know. Why did Bobby Altoff interview Drake in bed? Who is this person? I need to Google who is. American podcaster and influencer known for her viral interviews with Drake, Lil Yachty, Offset, and other celebrities. Did she interview Kamala Harris during the election? I swear maybe she did. You've used it for Game Pass before? Well, yeah, because unfortunately now, like, all the frickin' cheaper sites like Instant Gaming and a lot of the CD key sites aren't even able to get Game Pass anymore. For some weird reason, they've completely, like, run out of stock and they're not replacing them. Let me see here. I think Bobby Altoff might have interviewed Kamala Harris. That could be where I know her from. But all I see is people talking about her all the time. I'm like, I don't know, I don't care. I'm kind of that old man now where it's like, I don't know anything about anybody who's popular anymore. Let me see. No, that was on Call Her Daddy. That's a different one. Lil Yachty's a rapper, man. Come on. I don't know the music, if you want to call it music, but I know the name. That's about it. Florence is okay. I wouldn't pass if she were down, but she's not the type. Like I said, I don't think she's ugly. I don't think she's bad looking. I don't know. I don't quite get what any of the fuss is about. Like, if we're being, I gotta make sure Google's not gonna pop up something that we can't show on YouTube.
Ideas of what to do with the new Prince Eric movie.
No. We don't need that. Stop it. Stop it. What are you doing to me here? I switched screens and it tries to play that shit again. She became popular interviewing rappers last year or something. The ultimate snow bunny. Ugh. Well, she's a little skinny for a snow bunny, isn't she? Like, I don't get it, guys. With all the makeup, with no makeup, it's all bad. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen a single film that she's in. So again, I'm just judging it based on appearance, and based on appearance, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, she looks pretty in this one. Looks okay in this one. Again, this is with a lot more makeup on, obviously. I don't know. Somebody said, yeah, no, I'm gonna keep those thoughts to myself. Let's just say I like them more well endowed. Very British face. Very British face. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand why. Like, okay, so you go back to like 2000s, mid to late 2000s, as far as like the girls that were attractive. Oh hell, you go back to like before that, we had like Elizabeth Hurley, okay, Kate Beckinsale. If we're talking British chicks, there were far hotter British. Rona Mitra, okay. Then you even have like just like the freaking the girl next door types, like that chick from that. Oh crap, what was the name of that movie? The Notebook. Rachel McAdams. Okay, normal looking women that were better looking than 90% of what's in Hollywood these days. I'd be friends with her, not attracted to her. Yeah, exactly. Oh, you don't get the Alana Pierce thing? I get the Alana Pierce thing. I get that. but then she opens her mouth. That's the problem with Alana Pierce. No, let me see here. Let's see, let's zoom back out a bit. Alana Pierce. No, I get why people find her attractive. Like, if we're just looking at first glance general appearance, although definitely looks like she might have had a little work done. Not a big fan of that, but again, if we're comparing Alana Pierce to Florence Pugh, I don't even think it's close. I think Alana Pierce at her best, far more attractive than Florence Pugh. Like, not even close. I didn't geek because I didn't have time. That was something I was thinking we could talk about on the live stream. I might save that for Wednesday if things kind of devolve, because I know that what's the YouTuber, Harmful Opinions? I can't remember what the name of his YouTube channel. I'm subscribed to him. I just can't remember which one it is. Let me go through my subscriptions real quick. It is Harmful Opinions. I know he's been covering her a lot, so we might, depending on what comes out in the next few days about all that. Yes, she edited her YouTube comment more times than Disney edited Snow White. You like her at her work level, so you can't think about her like that. Fair enough. And I'm not saying that anybody needs to be fantasizing about a woman that we're talking about. I'm just saying if we're just judging it on pure objective appearance, I think Alana Pierce is prettier than Florence Pugh. I just don't even think it's close. But again, I also tend to find women attractive if they're more of a naturally attractive look than people who are like far too done up. Part of why I don't like plastic surgery. I'm not a fan of women that have like a ton of silicone and injections and Botox and all that kind of crap. It's just not. She lied and she's cray cray. We all knew she was cray cray. Like, dude, that's nothing new, okay? I need to get the situational disability video clip on here. Person YouTuber Shoe on Head, she's an absolute babe. She'll rip anybody too. Shoe on Head is a reformed socialist. She was like a far lefty Bernie bro, or Bernie chick, I should say. But then she married a trad Catholic guy, and so now she's more of like a center-right libertarian, as I understand it. I'm pretty sure she's like moved further to the right. I don't know. I think I follow her on Twitter. I watched a few of her YouTube videos a while back. Can't say I have. Joe Biden ass cancer. Oh my god, it's not ass cancer. Prostate cancer. Natural beauty should be valued 100%. And unfortunately, we live in a society where men are convinced that women that look fake are attractive. Women are convinced that women that look fake are attractive. And the people doing the convincing, I think, are 90% gay men. So it's like, why is anybody listening to their opinions in the first place? She recently squeezed out a baby but still looks good. You love her? That's good. Situational disabilities are sadly a valid concept that was named in a retarded manner. I think that is a very legitimate way to talk about it. Look, like I said, it's funny to crap on people that have really stupid opinions or bad opinions. I get what she was trying to say. I think she conveyed it in a very poor way. In the same way that we go back to like the whole Goonergate thing with Dread Roberts, I still agree with what he was trying to say in that situation. I think he just did a very poor job conveying it, and a lot of people didn't take the context of what he was saying into consideration. So it just turned into a complete, shit show. That's why we had Goonergate. It became a thing because I think comments were made that were missing context. I don't take opinions from a dude pretending to be a chick. Shoe on Head's not a dude though. She's an actual woman. Or are we just talking about women that have too much plastic surgery? I'm confused. Natural all the way, and F all those plastic empty clown looking ones. Dude, honestly, it's really sad. So, I'm luckily not, obviously I'm not in my 20s anymore. I'm in my almost 40. I got just a little over a year left until I turn 40. And most of the young, like early 20 girls at this point, I would say like half of them, from what I've seen, are getting some sort of filler or Botox or implant or this or that. And it's like, you're not even in your 30s yet. What the hell is the point of starting all that young? You know? It doesn't make any sense to me why anybody would start trying to like inject shit into their body without even like they don't even have wrinkles yet. Like hell, you're starting so young on so much of this shit. She was part of the meme war, just saying she was kind of based, at least in terms of what that meant at the time. I think that you can be based even if your politics fall on different sides of the spectrum. It just depends on how you respond to criticism, I would say, or differing opinions. If you can respect different opinions from your own, even if you don't agree with them, and you can convey your message in a way that actually is reasonable, I think you can be based, even if you're like on the opposite side of the spectrum. Kind of the best of the best when it comes to trolling the audience. Yeah, like I said, I don't know enough about her. I never watched any of her content, but I'd seen a lot of her posts on Twitter and a few of the like little shorts and clips and stuff. I get it. Her video on women trying to date men is fantastically funny. I'll have to look that one up. And she was on the other side at the time too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I know that her becoming more center-right was, I think, after getting married. Hit the gym, it might change your life. When I have time. When I have time. That's going to be this weekend because, like I said earlier, I have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday this week where I don't have any baseball activities that we have to be at. And so for me personally, I have to have at least a day or two with nothing else going on to even be able to make it to the gym, which sucks because this time of year right now, we are approaching the playoff season for all of our kids' baseball teams, and for us, it's like coming up here, we're going to have multiple nights with practice or a game or whatever, and it's just it's a lot. Who is she? We're talking about an actual woman. There were people at the time. I remember one of my original banger tweets back in the day before I even had like 500 followers was something to do with Shoe on Head being trans. And I made some sort of like sarcastic comment about it, and it was a pretty funny one at the time, but yeah. Oh man, that was before I lost both my accounts and had to fight to get them back. That was before Elon bought Twitter. That was a whole different world we were looking at back then. That was crazy. All right, guys, I'm going to hit the hay. I need to get some sleep. Tomorrow's going to be a long day again. Wednesday's going to be another even longer day. I've been packing for a move, and once I got my new place, my PC didn't post. Didn't post? What do you mean? Oh, it's a advice to everyone so they can avoid putting silicone on themselves. Yeah, I mean, dude, that's... Honestly, here's the funny thing. You want to get conspiratorial about it? You want to get, like, crazy makeup industry, pharmaceuticals, all this kind of stuff? Women wear makeup because the makeup industry tells them that's what makes them pretty. Women get Botox because they're convinced that's what makes them pretty, right? But is it possible that all the makeup and all the chemicals and everything else is what's making them age faster and making them have more wrinkles, and they'd be prettier without it if they never put makeup on in the first place? Possible. I mean, I think that's a possibility. I don't know. Just finishing work? Yeah, well, I got to get up in 7 hours and start the whole day over again. And then, like I said, I'm going to make tomorrow a late day at work just so I give myself an extra few hours to get some stuff done. And then I'm going to go from work immediately to my daughter's practice and help the coaches with practice. And then we're going to go from her practice to catch the second half of my son's game, which will wrap up around 9:15 tomorrow night. So we'll see if I even get any videos put together tomorrow. I don't know. I might have to do a couple at work if I have a few spare minutes or here or there or whatever. PC had no signal to my display. Might be a RAM slot that got loose. I mean, you could check that. Oh, dude, 100%. Cage. Erin Moriarty. I think is that her name? Erin Moriarty? That is the prime example of what exactly I'm talking about. Is you take a woman who's naturally cute, 90% of guys would look at her and go, okay, if I was with somebody that looked like this, I'd be perfectly happy, right? And then what does she do? She jacks up her face. Makeup conspiracy versus not so conspiratorial, especially with the chemicals put in modern makeup. I mean, I know that. Oh, dude, now she's like a freaking ghoul. Yeah. Terrifying. And again, her own choice. I'm not trying to get a second wife and chase some woman in Hollywood. I don't care, other than it's a symptom. It's symptomatic. It's emblematic of what's going on in society. You know, it's just sad. It's pitiful. So, yeah, she was a very pretty woman, and now not so much. All right, guys, I'm going to sleep. Did I play Doom? No, I couldn't play Doom. I couldn't play Doom, Mad Adam. Doom requires your GPU to have RTX. My GPU does not have RTX, despite the fact that if it wasn't required, my computer, my GPU, my processor, my amount of RAM I have in my computer, everything would have exceeded the minimum requirements to play the game. It would have been just fine. I would have played the game just fine. I would have had a good time. The game seems like it's decent. But no, they made that choice, so they decided to eliminate a large percentage of the PC marketplace by doing that, making that decision. That being said, Stellar Blade's minimum requirements are completely, like, it's insane. My PC will run Stellar Blade no problem whatsoever when that game comes out. So I'm going to wait on day one, see how the reviews are, make sure that the game looks good, that it's running well on PC, and then I'll pick it up, and we'll stream it the week it comes out, not sure when. So yes, I will be picking it up. Yeah, Matt, no worries, Matt Adam. And then here's the thing. If it was a year down the road, or if I wanted to like steal my kid's 4060 and swap, graphics cards or whatever, it wouldn't be a problem. But it just, for me, seems like a really, really weird decision by id Software to make that choice to require that. I just think it's a bad idea. And clearly, look, if you look at the Steam numbers, I was trying to make this point to somebody earlier on Twitter, that they wanted to argue with me about Steam numbers and this and that, and if you're a PC player, you should upgrade all the time. It's like, look at the number of people who aren't playing this game. $70, RTX, Game Pass, other games are coming out right now. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to play the game. It's not going to be region locked in the US. It's not going to have a PSN requirement. Denuvo's still a thing, but again, ShiftUp is saying Denuvo's not going to have any effect on the game. So as long as it doesn't seem to be having enough of a negative effect to make the game unplayable or make the game a bad experience, I will certainly be playing it. Oh yeah, Cage, absolutely appreciate that, dude. I need to start doing that. I absolutely do. All right, I'm out. Catch you guys probably Wednesday unless I'm dead to the world and can't stream, but I'll let you guys know. Take it easy. Lugia, thanks.